realise that Emerson was a racing driver. He's come dressed for the part today.
Well, it's a very special day because I'm driving the McLaren M23 that I won my second World Championship and was the first for McLaren.
And it's incredible to think, is this the 40-year anniversary?
40 years
40
ago.
years.
But it was, I'm very proud to be a small contribution to this huge history of McLaren.
I think it was quite a large contribution to the history of McLaren, it's fair to say. When you joined McLaren, what was that day like? Because obviously you'd had success previously.
Well, I'm driving for Colin Chapman for Lotus, and I was very lucky to have Colin as my first team. Team Lotus was fantastic, and then I had the opportunity to go to McLaren. At that time, McLaren has not won any championship yet, but it was a very strong team with a lot of passion, a lot of dedication, and they really trying to win the first championship, and I was lucky to be there when we won together.
And if you look at Formula One from your day to now, which do you prefer?
Well, I think there's a huge change. First on driver safety, that Formula One now is much safer than it used to be. We know it was a very risky sport before. A big change on downforce, on braking technology, all the electronics. You have the telemetry that helps a lot. I like the past, but I like the future cars. I drove last year as a Grand Prix car, modern car, and it's great to drive. It's much well balanced. You brake inside the corner. I mean, it was a lot of fun, the modern Grand Prix car. I love it.
A little bit controversial, what do you think of the noise? I've seen you at some races this year. Do you like Formula One, the noise and where it's going at the moment?
I think we have to get used to the noise. Who is working like you are working at the pit, at the paddock, is much better because you can talk before you have to scream.
Selfishly, I don't use my voice anymore, but that's just thought for me.
But historical, all the turbo engine cars, they make less noise. And that's the type of rule. I like the new rules. I think it made a new challenge. It's very technical to drive, because when the power from the turbo comes in, becomes very aggressive, and the driver has to control with the throttle. You can see on TV there's a lot of power down, and you start spinning the rear wheel coming out of corners, and you lose traction, and the other guy take advantage. It creates another overtaking area that didn't exist before. I like the new rules. I think the modern cars with the energy that the world has today, and using all the energy available in the car, from the exhaust, from the brakes, and all this system. It's a very complicated system working together to transmit all this power, these energies through the wheels, will come to a passenger car, to our car in the future. I think that's the main goal for racing, to develop a new technology like the Le Mans cars, the hybrid cars, and that's what we're going to look on the futures that we use every day on the road.
We've been talking a lot about the P1, and it's a car which can have a very smooth transition from being a road car to a racing car. But McLaren, to be the only team to have success in Formula One, the Indy 500, Can-Am, Le Mans, I see you brandishing your ring as well. I mean, it's an incredible amount of success that McLaren has had over the years.
I mean, the history of McLaren is incredible. And talking about Indianapolis, when I won my first World Championship for McLaren, I was my first test in Indianapolis. And I tested the McLaren that won that year with John Rutherford. But at that time, the chassis, the monocoque, was only aluminum, they were not carbon fiber, and they were extremely dangerous cars. And I decided not to race, but I was back to Indianapolis 10 years later, when I had the carbon fiber car. And then I started my career in Indianapolis too. But the history of McLaren being successful in Formula 1, being successful in Canon. You know, Canon, we have a Canon car there.
Yeah.
And that was when Bruce was driving himself and Danny Hume. And that they're making history in America because they are winning from Porsche, from great teams. And then they decide to go to Indianapolis and they won. I mean, won everything. Formula 1, Indy, and Canon, and Le Mans.
And
Le Mans.
No, it's an incredible history. Just describe the emotion of winning that World Championship with McLaren and delivering that first for them.
Well, it was a very tight championship because Watkins Glen, the last Grand Prix, the US Grand Prix, I was tight with Clay Regazzoni on the Ferrari. And we start side by side on the grid, and it was the first time that I was not able to sleep the night before the Grand Prix.
The first time?
It's tremendous pressure on myself, the whole team, because when you go to the last Grand Prix tied up in points, and on the grid I was next to Clay Regazzoni Ferrari, and our mechanics, our crew didn't want to look to the Ferrari crew. And the Ferrari crew didn't want to look to us. It was an incredible race, incredible race.
And in Formula 1, when you see these, but not so often, but when you get these situations at the end of the season where it's going to be really tight, and we might have that this year, do those emotions still come back to you?
Well, I can see, you know, we know that the whole team, the pressure, the sponsors, the fans, everybody's looking for that last chance to win the championship. It's a tremendous pressure. I mean, I know everyone, and we all know how much work behind the Grand Prix car. I mean, the few days before the Grand Prix, the preparation, getting the car together, going for practice, then qualifying, then get ready for the race. I mean, there's a tremendous build-up. Because we only see when the drivers start the Grand Prix, but there's an incredible teamwork before. And that's, you build up tremendous pressure when the championship has to be decided right there. It looks like this year can happen.
Yeah.
To the last race.
It's exciting, and then we've got double points to contend with, but that's a whole other story. We don't want to keep you because I know you're getting back in your car. When you get back into that car, does it feel like home? Does everything come flooding back to you?
It was a good question. It's very strange because when I go back to the M23, to the McLaren this weekend, I like to stay in the car a long time with the helmet, like I used to race, like to going back home. And then I had all my memories, you know, so good memories from that car, from the history, from the achievements. And I like to stay quiet in the car, and everything goes back in the memory. It's a fantastic feeling.
Emerson, 2 World Championships, 40 years, hard to believe, 40 years since you won with McLaren. Ladies and gentlemen, please give Emerson Fittipaldi a huge round of applause.
Thank you very much.